There's one key piece to your training that you're missing if you want to reach your training goals. So let's fix that. Welcome to Strong for Life Live. This is Coach Josh Wood. I'm down here in Hobart, Tasmania, 10 o'clock Tuesday morning, same time as always. And if you're catching this live, it's always great to see you. You can catch this live in the Become Strong for Life Facebook group and on the Coach Josh Wood YouTube channel. And if you're catching this on any of the podcast channels, Spotify, Apple, Google, please take a minute to rate, review, leave a comment, leave a question. I love questions. And share with your friends and family. If you found something valuable, sharing the podcast helps get that around. And if you found something that helped you, that same thing will help someone else. So please share. Let's see here. Do I have any big announcements? So we're running our challenge in the Become Strong for Life Facebook group. If you are not part of the group and not part of the challenge and you'd like to be, we're only on day 2, so you can hop in and catch up. It's a 7-day challenge. So get in there quick and catch up on the first day and then today as well. And you can win yourself a prize because prizes are great. Let's see here. Any other announcements? I'm working on that super secret project behind the scenes. Hopefully have that at least. No, I've got 2 projects going on. 2 big projects behind the scenes that are going to be unveiling themselves in the next maybe month. I should have one of them ready to unveil. So if you're not in the Facebook group or following on socials or on the newsletter list, please hop on there because that's where I put out the information first. I'll probably go out to the newsletter first. So these are projects that will directly make your life easier if you are trying to look after your health and fitness. My goal is always to simplify and make things easier for you to achieve than they would be otherwise. So stay tuned. Also, there's a big garbage truck right outside my office, and I don't know if you can hear that. Don't know why it's here so late. Anyhow, these things happen. So let's talk a bit about what that most important thing is. Now, I've been in the industry a long time now. Since 2000, I think it was 2011 I started working in gyms. And that's 12 and a half, 13 years now. And there's always something that someone is trying to sell you that is the most important thing now. You know, whether it's this new super secret diet or this absolutely out of control, perfect training plan that works for everyone and is amazing. You know, maybe it's a magic pill, a supplement. Oh my God, we just discovered this new thing in the Amazon rainforest and it is going to change your life, like when acai berries became the big thing. But they didn't tell you that an apple has just as many antioxidants as an acai berry. And they grow here. So there's always something someone's trying to sell you. And it's always the missing piece. So I feel a little silly saying that, but this is something I'm going to give away for free. This little piece, this little bit of magic is the key to your success. And it's not something anyone can sell. It's called, let me see if I can pronounce this right, consistency. Consistency is the single most important piece. And because I do have a lot of interaction with the general public through social media, I get a lot of questions about things. And these days I'm getting a lot of questions from young men, late teens, early 20s, about things like magic supplements, about performance enhancing drugs, about super special training splits. And it's almost always the same case. But the young guys, it is they're skinny and they want to gain weight and get muscular. And then with the old guys, it's, oh, I used to be strong and muscular and now I'm overweight and I want to be leaner, stronger, more capable for my family, or to be more impressive in their presentation if they have a public facing job. And the thing that they're all lacking is consistency. The young guys haven't been training long enough and they're looking for the secret pill that's going to make them big and jacked. It's like, well, you eat like 3 rice thins a day and Wheat Bix. You don't eat enough protein. You don't eat enough food in general. and then you go in and do like one upper body split a week, call it a day, and go, why am I not huge and jacked? It's like, man, the people you're looking at that look the way you want to look have been at it for years and years. And you know what they do? The same shit every day, all the time. The most successful people eat the same foods all the time, work on the same basic training movements when they go into the gym, and they go on the same days for the same amount of time. And they work hard within those parameters. And they do it all the time, day in, day out, for years. And if you want to be successful at anything, learn a new skill, be successful in business, learn how to climb mountains, get the physique you've always wanted, you have to be consistent. That is the missing piece for 9 out of 10 people. And that's an easy thing for me to say, sitting here at my computer, judging you from afar. I know what you're thinking. But the hard part is figuring out why you're not consistent. That's the hard part. And that's where a good coach comes in. Because I've worked with a lot of people with a lot of natural talent, a lot of people with a good training background, a lot of people with good head on their shoulders. They're smart, they know what's up, but they just can't maintain that consistency. And a lot of things go into that consistency picture. It could be you're expecting results too quickly, or you're expecting results that don't match up to what you're actually doing. You know, like the young guys who get into powerlifting because they like lifting heavy, but then they wonder why they don't like bodybuilders or they don't look like gymnasts. It's because you're not doing what those people do. It could be decision fatigue. And those of you that are out there who have a lot of responsibilities, family and work and all the million things that you have to do, we get decision fatigue. Because decision, or willpower, which allows you to make decisions, willpower is finite. It is a limited resource. And the more decisions you make, the less capacity you have to continue to make decisions. You have to take away some of that decision making. And so a lot of the parents and professionals I work with, that is the key feature. It's a matter of someone handing them a plan, food plan, a training plan, how to manage their stress, how to manage their sleep, and say, do this thing. And they just do it. They tick the boxes, they follow the plan. And consistency then comes easy because they have a plan and they have an accountability partner. And I've talked about accountability partners a number of times, but you really can't talk about it too much because if you don't have an accountability structure of some sort, something to keep you on track, consistency will flag. You will lose it. There's only one David Goggins out there. So you need to have that accountability. You need to have a plan. But more than anything, you need to know how your own brain works and what makes it work. And as a coach, it's my job to figure that out for you. I work with a lot of people, and in the early stages, it's always the same process. Where are you at now? What are you doing? What capacity do you have? How much time do you have in your schedule? What's your recovery like? And then how do we figure out what works best for you? Because what works best for you may not work best for someone else, which is why the young kid's picking up a training split from some bodybuilder magazine designed for someone who's been training for 10 years isn't really going to work for them. And the other side of that, the thing I hear a lot as well is, you know, I get a lot of people who are like, I don't want to look like a bodybuilder accidentally somehow. I'm afraid that if I pick up a weight, I'm going to look like a bodybuilder. And it's usually women who don't have a lot of experience with training. I see that a lot more because I don't know many guys who are worried about getting too muscular. There's a few that are in very specific niche sports where they're like, I can't get that big. It's not going to suit me. It's like, yeah, it's fine. No worries. But a lot of women are afraid of building a bodybuilder-esque physique. And my answer to them saying that they don't want to look like a bodybuilder is very simple. I said, well, okay, good, because you won't. Unless you decide to live like them and train like them and put in 10 or 15 years of work in that direction for that goal, you're not going to accidentally look like a bodybuilder. Problem solved. But you can get leaner. You can get that, quote, toned physique that everyone talks about, which is really just reduced body fat and visible muscle mass. You can do that, but you're not going to accidentally become a bodybuilder because the consistency involved there is a lot. Massive consistency over massive length of time. For a very long time, well, it seems like a long time to me, I've been teaching in health and fitness spaces. I taught massage for a number of years, taught the massage qualifications here in Australia, and I taught the personal training qualifications as well. All up was probably about 9 or 10 years I did all that. And no matter what we're talking about, if it's treatment or training or whatever, the most important thing is that element of consistency. And when I'm talking to new personal trainers, they're always worried about the perfect programming. And I'm a programming nerd. I like getting into the nitty-gritty of programming and finding what that perfect little exercise is within the schedule over, a mesocycle and a macro cycle, and how do we regulate training volume and recovery, and like just really getting into the nerd stuff. That's fun. I enjoy that. That might not be fun for other people, but it's the least important part of the process, because the average person that comes in and says, I just want to look and feel better. I want to look in the mirror and be happy. I want to have a body that reflects the capacity it has. And I always say, athletes look like athletes because they're athletes. If you want to look like an athlete, well, let's start training like an athlete. And everyone sort of gets caught up in the minutia of that little secret thing. And it's like, it doesn't matter what your training program is, as long as you have one and you do it consistently. People have had great results on really simple programs. And I love simple programming as well. I like learning about it and testing them and reading them. I like minimum effective dose training and looking at things like starting strength and strong lifts 5x5 or what's the other one? Texas method. Any of the 5x5, 3x5 training programs. Those things are so simple. And they use like 3 or 4 major movements. And they work if you stick with them. And then you can have the most complex 7-day bodybuilding split. And those work if you stick with them and follow the parameters required to get those results. Food, sleep, recovery, that kind of thing. But the programming doesn't have to be perfect. The timing doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need 90 minutes in the gym. You don't need 60 minutes in the gym. You need whatever you can fit in and do it consistently. And yes, results will vary based on your ability to put in and your ability to recover. But you will get results if you are consistent with whatever program you follow. And that means being consistent on the food and nutrition and recovery side as well. You can't just blast yourself in the gym and not recover and expect to get the results you want. But a simple program with simple implements. I have people who train, who've spent their whole training life just using bands at home or simple dumbbell setups. That's fine. But if you're consistent, you're still going to see results. So this whole chopping and changing, looking for the next best thing and jumping on the new diet fad and trying out all the supplements, it's not going to help you if you don't have consistency. You need to run a program, a minimum 6 weeks, ideally 12. I always try to get people running at least 12 weeks of consistent nutrition and training before we look at other things, because it takes time to see what works for you, what doesn't work, or how well something is working for you, and then what we need to change. But if you're not going to stick with something for 12 weeks, minimum 6. In 6 weeks, you can, if you're training hard and you're training consistently, you'll know if something is putting you on the right track. But give yourself 12 weeks. Do 3 1-month training blocks. Follow a program for 12 weeks, and then you know what's working, what's not working. There is a caveat to this. There is consistency in a direction that doesn't get you where you're going. And this is and again, another gym stereotype is the guy in his 40s or 50s who goes in the same times every week or every day, does the exact same exercise, the same circuit with the same intensity and the same weights, and then he doesn't change. That does happen, but that is a rarity because most people are too anxious to see the results and not as invested in the process. But be consistent with whatever process you decide to undertake, and then give it enough time to make a judgment call. So don't hop around from program to program. Don't get caught up in the minutia of the perfect exercise or supplements. If you're an 18-year-old guy trying to get bigger and stronger, work hard in the gym, sleep a lot, eat even more. If you're not gaining size, you're not eating enough. If you're trying to lose body fat, you have to consume in a calorie deficit. You have to eat less than you are using up so that you can tap into your body fat. You have to give your body a reason to get into the body fat. So you have to consume less than you are currently. So you have to do that. You have to do that, and you have to give it time. So if you're sitting there and you're like, why am I not seeing my results? It's because probably there's an element of consistency that you're missing. And if it's an element that has to do with the ability to be consistent, figure out what works best for your brain. Figure out how you get the consistency to happen. Because otherwise, if you're not willing to put in the time and the effort to be consistent, to see what results you can get from what you're doing, and then worry about the little stuff, you're just kind of wishing, you're just kind of hoping something good will happen. You need to invest. You need to put in the time. You need to make it happen. Don't look for quick fixes. They don't really exist. And anytime you see someone with a physique or capacity or ability that you envy, and you're like, oh, I wish I could do backflips. I wish I could do these fancy mobility things that you see people do on Instagram. If you see that and you're like, I wish I could do that, ask yourself if you really want to, and if you're willing to be consistent to make that happen, because it won't happen without that. So if there's a single piece of the puzzle that 9 out of 10 people are missing, it is consistency. So if you have some issues making that happen, reach out and let me know. I got some resources that can help you. Join in the Facebook group, Become Strong for Life Facebook group. Everyone's welcome. We're running challenge right now. We run challenges regularly, and it's a great place to get some support for your consistency. That's it. Be consistent. Keep doing something to see if it works for you before jumping on the next thing. And if you can do that, a simple program, a simple nutrition plan will get you more results than just about anything else. So that's it. That's the thing today. One piece, consistency. Make it happen. And if you got any questions, thoughts, concerns, please reach out and let me know. Coach Josh Wood on everything. And if you feel like this has helped you, please share, please like, rate, and review. And then catch you next week. All right, have a good one.